Alright, so this is my third and final unboxing for today. Um, this one here, I was looking at different books one night and trying to figure out what my next purchase would be, and came across this artwork, and I didn't even think about buying art from this creator before, um, but when I saw it, I was like, I had to have this. Um, really cool piece. So it's shipped here. Now this is, let's see, let's take it out because it's got a piece over it. Let's get rid of this tape because that'd be my luck to snag it on something. All right. So this is original art. This has one of them pages over to protect it. Let's try to keep it to the board. So before I show the artwork, I'll show what he's probably most known for. Is this Showcase 79 cover, and the artist is Jay Scott Pike. He worked with DC and Marvel, mainly doing romance books, and for Marvel he did jungle hero books with female leads, and I think like one or two stories in some romance comics. For DC, he was primarily romance comics, and then he created this character here, Dolphin, which appeared later in the Aquaman series. And I always loved this character. The first time I think I encountered her was probably in the late 80s, early 90s. There was an old LCS that had been around since I think like the 70s, not too far from me. And I rarely would get to go there. And I loved going there because it had that, I'd say hard to describe if you've never smelt it before, but you go in there and you would smell like the old wood floors and the old wood um, boxes, because he had like these wooden boxes that they made, and then they would basically sink comic book boxes into the wooden boxes. So think of it kind of like a set of shelves, but flipped on its back, and then they just loaded the comic boxes in there. But it was all handmade. Um, but you could smell like the paper and the pulp paper and just years and years and years. It's kind of like, I guess, like going into a cigar shop and you can smell the cigars um, that just been there forever. Smell kind of just permeates and stays. It was the same thing at this place. You would go in. I can still remember it. I mean, I was like, it's probably like 1990. So I was about 14 years old. But I still remember opening up that door with little bell clanging. Um, and the guy who ran it, oddly enough, I seen him. He was old then, but I guess as a kid, everybody's old. I guess I was, I'm probably older than what the guy was now. But to me, he seemed like he was old. But the funny thing about this guy was he always wore those shell button cowboy shirts, like they just snap with like the pearlette button on them. And he just dressed like he might be like one of TV cowboys. Is how he always dressed. And oddly enough, that's what he collected. That's what he loved to collect, was cowboy comics. He liked cowboy and funny animal comics. But you would go in there and the smell would just like, it would hit you, and man, it's like you're in heaven. But to say that this dude overpriced all his books. So I got a copy of that Showcase 79. And in 1990, I think I want to say I paid like $15 for it, maybe $10. It's probably got 4 or 5 now. But I just loved the cover, and I went to see like who that character was. Because at that point, I was starting to kind of shift a little bit and being interested in the DC characters I didn't know about. And she was one of them. So I kind of wanted to get into like that you know, 70s, early 80s DC stuff, and 60s stuff, if I could find it. But I bought that, and then later on, Dolphin appeared again in Aquaman, and it kind of like I was like, oh, you know what? I want to get a high grade or higher grade of that book. Um, and I did, and I didn't realize the significance of the artist when I bought that book, or how hard that book is to find in high grade until I started looking for it. Um, is extremely hard to find because of this green cover here is unforgiving. You can see here this is an 8.0, and that's got some minor spine scuff right there, but beautiful book nonetheless, and very hard to find high grade. Um, Funny enough that guy, when I was about, I want to say when I was about 16, 17 years old, I went in there again. I'd gone through like periodically, whenever I could get around there, but I hadn't been in like maybe a year, and I just like, I'm gonna stop in there. So I stopped in, and he was actually retiring, and he offered me the store to buy the store, but at the time I didn't have money like that, to take over. Um, just kind of give you an idea, he had like a 2.0 Avengers 4. And Cap's my favorite character, and I looked at it once or twice before. And this is back in like probably about 93, 94. Um, he had $2,000. He had $2,500 on it. Told me he'd sell it to me for 2,000. Which was just ridiculous. The book probably in that grade was worth about 200. But he tried to pull one over on me. So at that point I didn't trust him anyway. But later on I picked up a copy of like an 8.0, maybe a 9.0 Avengers 4 for about 2,500. Right before all the movies came out. So yeah, he was way off on prices. But I did see him at Comic-Con about, I want to say about 7, 8 years ago. It was funny. He'd walk around with the same type of cowboy shirt on, and he was just a customer walking around looking at comics, but he was giving like the vendors a hard time. Like he was looking at the CGC books, and they were upside down, like the labels weren't facing out. He started, "Hey man, you need to turn these around so people can read what they are." And the guy's just like looking at him, I guess. Like, um, he's a funny guy. But anyway, so this here I came across, and I immediately jumped on it. This here is Jay Scott Pike art, and apparently he did a lot of pinups as well, pinup art as well. And this was a series of pinups he did. I think they were called Panty Dropped, and this is original art. Um, and you got the woman carrying the groceries in, and the groceries apparently start spilling out of the bag, and she lifts her skirt up to kind of catch everything, and her panties fall down to her ankles. But apparently, this was a series of motif or subject matter he used um, in a series of these. This I think was supposedly done in like the early '80s, maybe mid '80s, and just I had to get it. I've never seen original art by Pike for sale. I've seen one page of romance after looking at this, but nothing else. I didn't see any original art, no pinup art, no other pages, just one page of romance from a romance comic. So yeah, I jumped on this. Beautiful illustration and colored. Um, just really great. And this will go well with my collection of my other artists. I have Kirby, I have Simon, I have Wally Wood, I have Edgar Church. Um, guy's name is Alex Toth. I have a couple pages of Alex Toth, just thumbnail sketches, and Carl Barks. I have a Carl Barks page, Mike Hoffman. So this goes in with those. Really happy to have this. Great looking piece of art. Beautiful face too. I mean, he was really good at doing the faces. Um, but beautiful piece. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. And I will be back in a couple days, hopefully with my new comic book haul. And I should have some really cool horror books coming in next week. And I have, I think, two more books uh, coming soon from auctions. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.